Neo Planet S, an incredibly entertaining newer map here in Heart of the Swarm. Let's see which of these players can take the victory here. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the red Protoss player. We have representing Fnatic. Nick, you need to make us referee every game, man. I can't. It's so hard not being able to talk to these guys right now. We have Fnatic's Harstem. His opponent spawning in the top right-hand corner, the train conductor himself, currently up 2-1. Also representing Fnatic, we have Naama.
So the question is, now they made a Pokemon reference, Josa, which Pokemon did you choose at the start?
Charmander. Always and forever.
I was always Squirtle. Squirtle all the way. How can you not like Blastoise?
Well, Blastoise is kind of cheating. You can't convince me that a creature can evolve to have, like, massive cannons and guns, like, attached to them. No, it just doesn't work. Blastoise is cheating. That's all it is.
But evolving into a dragon, that's completely, like, believable.
Well, yeah. You know, like, little lizard grows up, becomes dragon, pretty standard. Don't you watch Game of Thrones?
Okay, to be fair, I do watch Game of Thrones, and that does happen occasionally.
Yeah. Sup, no problem. Whereas, who evolves and then randomly acquires guns? It just doesn't happen.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark doesn't evolve guns, dude.
He does in some doesn't he in one of the comics? Like, he becomes one with the suit? Or something like that, I'm sure.
Okay, maybe.
I'm trying to, like, out-nerd you to make my point realistic, but yes, but only because I know you've won and I agree with you. But yes, the point is, currently a probe is harassing these SCVs endlessly.
Yeah, this is like the Huck probe. Non-stop harassment here, really frustrating to deal with. We even have a bunker going on. Interesting, a bunker going on at the top of the ramp here as opposed to in the natural from Naama. I wonder if it's because he's 2-1 up now and he's expecting some sort of all-in maybe from Harstem, as Huck probe does actually get destroyed.
I think it's the Huck probe that is making him very, very concerned. Like, no one's that attentive with a probe if they're not doing something cheesy behind this.
Yeah.
But of course, Harstem rather, he's not doing anything cheesy behind this, as Naama now scouts.
Yeah, he's gonna see the he's gonna see the Nexus gone down. He's gonna feel relatively safe. He'll see that there's actually only one gateway in the main base, so no massive amounts of chrono boost saved up either as a Stalker pops out, which will kill the SCV eventually. So nothing too much to be worried about this early on in the game, and Naama's gonna be able to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief here.
And that is always a good sigh of relief to breathe of, as the bunker was salvaged. Another bunker coming down very, very forward here. Neo Planet S is a really interesting map, though. Just mainly due to there being no watchtower, and you're always expanding towards your opponent.
I don't like the placement of this bunker, I'm just going to say it now, because just behind this bunker, where the Marines are stood now, or now just behind them, I guess, is a little ledge that provides that choke point. Now, imagine if you place the bunker a couple of hexes behind that choke point. It means, because of that ledge, it's really difficult for your opponent to get a decent concave later on in the game. Naama's put the bunker forward of this choke point. There is a massive amount of space to get a good concave, which means that later on, if Harstem decides he wants to bust through it, he's going to have a much, much easier time than if that bunker was placed a bit further back.
I agree with you 100%, but currently we see the Stalker getting pushed back a little bit by those Marines dancing in and out. That ledge is arguably a little tough to spot immediately, though.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
It's
the players have played, like, Neo Planet S before. And at the end of the day, look, the Marines can't physically move there. It's not too difficult to spot. I'm just really surprised this bunker is so far away from the natural.
It doesn't serve
any
any
benefit.
benefit.
Make a difference.
It doesn't serve any benefit either, pushing it that far forward.
No, not really, unless, I mean, there is a benefit if, for example, let's say you're in a situation where you're actually going a one-base all-in, and you don't want your opponent to sacrifice the shields on one of their units to go in and see that there's an orbital command at your natural. Then you want to place the bunker further forward so that they never actually get vision of the orbital command. That makes sense if it hasn't been scouted yet, but it was scouted quite early on. So I just don't see why that's been done here, really.
It's, well, One of those things that make you wonder. But currently, Harstem, he's getting down his Templar archives. He's getting down the +1 armor. We have also got +1 weapons on its way, though, for Naama. So he's getting both these players upgrading quite heavily, going for more of the later game. Harstem looking yet again to be going towards Templar archives and therefore High Templar and Storm, as opposed to Colossus Tech.
Harstem is effectively playing the same builds in this best of 9 show match at the moment. He hasn't really felt the need to differ his play by quite that much, I would say. Whereas Naama has been switching it up a lot more. Harstem being very, very stable. We've seen him going up to 5 gates, the Twilight Council, getting a +1 armor. I would say, I believe he got the second Forge a bit earlier than we saw him get in some of the games this series. But essentially, Harstem's build is very, very similar, if not identical to before.
That's really the ultimate mind game. Just like, I'm going to do exactly what you expect every game. That is the mind game of all mind games for teammates. Like,
maybe.
You'd never expect that.
No one expects those mind games.
Nobody.
We'll see. Templar Archives now going down inside the main base. So, yeah, not too much out of the ordinary there. We have got Zealot Charge once again coming out here from Harstem. The situation as far as the working count is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, is 50 to 52 in favor of Harstem right now. Supplies are virtually dead even.
And that, of course, is an important thing because the supplies are really the biggest indicator of what could be going on. And if we look at the actual worker count, that's very close as well. Slightly ahead for Harstem, but then you've got mules for Naama. The upgrades looking very similar. Double upgrades coming out a little bit sooner, though, for Harstem as opposed to what's coming out for Naama, who's only getting single upgrades at the moment, which just means that Harstem will pull ahead in terms of that shortly.
Now, this is, of course, for those of you who haven't seen this map before, this is Neoplanet S, a Kesper map, as we do have a couple of Hellbats moving from medevacs in both the north position and also the southeast position as well, so one on each side of the map. There are no Xel'Naga watchtowers on this map, it's worth noting, as a Zealot slices a couple Marines to pieces there. Oh dear, not winning that level of StarCraft Master by the looks of things is Naama. And there are 2 gold bases in the middle of the map, surrounded by a bunch of ledges that look like they could actually be taken if your opponent just wasn't scouting the entire game, but very, very difficult to keep a hold of because they just seem so exposed.
Unless, of course, you are Hero Marine and Sting at the finals of ESET UK Masters when you decide to float down your command centers just because you've both cheesed each other.
Double Hellbat drop now in the natural, and the one in the main is also going unchecked. We have Photon Overcharge going down the one in the main, picking apart the medevac very quickly. A cannon plus the overcharge, trying to get them killed off as quickly as possible. A couple more workers being killed. Meanwhile, more micro in the natural means that medevac and those Hellbats are going to get away. Only a total of 3 workers killed. Once again, very well held there by Harstem.
Yeah, that was a very, very solid hold by Harstem. And this is the problem. If Naama doesn't deal damage with these 2 base all-ins, like the one marching across at the moment, then he's got... Well, it's not really an all-in now because he hasn't pulled SCVs, which is shocking. But if he holds them off, then he's in an amazing position as long as he doesn't take too much damage.
Now, the worker count is actually relevant at this point. 52 workers for Naama versus 55 for Harstem. And Naama has mules, and he's not pulling SCVs with this particular attack. It's a bunch of excellent stuff! Oh, and really good picking apart 2 High Templar, both of whom I believe were just shy of enough energy for Storm as well. Really, really cool stuff. And now Naama is pushing in, scanning forward, trying to pick apart as many High Templar as he can with those Marauders, but they don't actually have enough energy at the moment. They're becoming Archons, and Naama looking like he's just going to steamroll Harstem in this game.
Yep, GG well